There is a detail in this case that I cannot stop thinking about. Not the scene, not even the silence. It is the dinner reservation. On the evening of May 4th, 2026, Matthew Mitchell had plans with friends. A regular Monday dinner, the kind of low-stakes, routine social thing that people agree to without much thought. A restaurant, a time, probably a standing arrangement. His friends showed up. He never did. And at almost exactly that same hour, Houston police officers were walking through the front door of a $1.2 million home on Kingston Street in River Oaks. What they found inside that house, I am going to tell you plainly, and then I am going to spend the rest of this video trying to explain everything that led to that Monday evening, because the facts are not hard to state. Understanding them is another matter entirely. Houston police confirmed that Matthew Mitchell, 52 years old, fatally shot his wife Thi, 39 years old, and their 2 children, Maya, 8, and Maxwell, 4, before turning the gun on himself. The Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences officially recorded the time of the children's deaths as 6:11 in the evening. Both children were found in their beds. HPD has named Matthew as the suspect. Multiple outlets, NBC News, ABC 13, Fox 26, have confirmed the same findings. The medical examiner has ruled Thi's death a homicide, Maya's a homicide, Maxwell's a homicide. Matthew's cause of death, a self-inflicted gunshot wound, that is the confirmed record. And now I want to tell you who these people were, because that is the part that matters most. If you spend any time at all going through Thi Mitchell's Instagram, you understand something pretty quickly. This was not a carefully curated brand account. It was not a highlight reel. It was documentation. Real-time, ongoing, unfiltered documentation of a woman who genuinely loved her life and had no particular reason to hide it. Travel videos from Japan, Vietnam, Mali, Taiwan, Jamaica, Spain, France. Family photos at the restaurant. Birthday tributes to her kids. Videos of her and Matthew being ridiculous together. A running archive of someone who was present in her own existence in a way that most people never quite manage. Thi Mitchell was born in Chicago, grew up in Houston as a first-generation Vietnamese American. Her weekends as a kid were spent working at her grandmother and mother's small Vietnamese restaurant. And if that detail tells you something about her work ethic and her relationship to food and family, it should. She earned her undergraduate degree from the University of Houston, then a master's degree in human resources and employment relations from Penn State. She went on to hold HR leadership roles at 3 Fortune 500 companies in hospitality and retail. She was, by any reasonable measure, a person who had built a serious professional life. And then she and Matthew decided to build something together. She was a board member of the Texas Restaurant Association's Greater Houston chapter. She owned a women's fashion brand called Foreign Fair. Travel-inspired clothing, wrinkle-resistant, packable, stylish, but practical. That description could have been her byline. She was the kind of person who made things look effortless, not because things were effortless, but because she had done the work so thoroughly that the effort stopped being visible. Her colleagues in Houston's restaurant community described her the same way over and over, using the same words without consulting each other. Warm, present, generous. The person who showed up first. The person who made other people feel like they mattered. Craig Howard, president of the Greater Houston chapter of the Texas Restaurant Association, told reporters that Thi had hosted their board meeting at her restaurant just the week before the family was found. 50 restaurateurs showed up. He described it as a great operation, wonderful staff, great food. He said they had asked Thi to join the board specifically because she was dynamic. His words, "We saw such a bright star with Thi." Chef Jazzy Bendra, who had been in the middle of planning a collaboration dinner with Thi when the news broke, told reporters she was always planning, always on her toes, always supportive of the industry. The Texas Restaurant Association's president and CEO, Emily Williams Knight, issued a formal statement. She described Thi as a ray of light who inspired everyone around her. The phrase "will be missed" was, she noted, an understatement. 3 days before the family was found, Thi posted a video on Instagram. She had taken her 8-year-old daughter, Maya, out for a mother-daughter afternoon, dress shopping for Thi's sister's upcoming wedding in Boston. They stopped for lunch at a cafe. Maya tried on dresses. Thi tagged the restaurant in the post. She wrote, "Maya picked her dress and made sure I was set too. The sweetest mom-daughter time." That was a Thursday. Then Sunday came, then Monday. Then the babysitter called. I want to be careful with this next part, and I mean genuinely careful, not careful in the way that serves as cover for speculation. Careful because this is where the story demands real precision. Matthew Mitchell was 52 years old. His biography reads like a personality test dressed up as a resume. He earned his bachelor's degree from Emory University. He studied in France, Italy, and at Oxford. He worked as a journalist in London, Paris, and New York. He came back to Texas, attended Rice University's Jones School of Management, and spent more than 14 years in the pharmaceutical industry, eventually serving as president and CEO of the Texas Center for Drug Development, a clinical research company. Then he enrolled in culinary school. After more than a decade running a pharmaceutical company, Matthew enrolled at the Art Institute of Houston, earned an associate's degree in culinary arts, worked in Houston restaurants, and in 2019 opened Traveler's Table with Thi. There is something in that pivot that I think tells you something real about him, not the glamour of it. There is no shortage of executives who get bored and decide to cook. It is the specificity of what they built. Traveler's Table was not a vanity project. The menu was constructed from their actual travels. You could taste the research in it. Dishes from Australia, Japan, Korea, Nigeria, New England. The kind of menu that takes years of accumulated experience and genuine curiosity to pull off. Matthew named every cocktail on both restaurant menus. Stanton Bundy, the former head chef at Traveler's Table, the man who appeared on and won against Bobby Flay during his time there, told reporters after the news broke that he had only ever seen Matthew and Thi in one minor disagreement in all the years they worked together. He said he considered Matthew a great friend. He said that after learning what happened, he was questioning everything he thought he knew. That is worth holding on to, not as a defense, as a data point. Because here's the other thing about Matthew Mitchell that becomes relevant when you try to understand this case. He had no social media, not a small presence, zero. In a world where everyone documents everything, Matthew kept his entire inner life entirely offline. Thi had joked about this publicly. She wrote that when they first met, she was convinced he was either a con artist or a married man living a double life. Because who has no social media in 2010? But no, just a man who preferred books and newspapers. Their first unofficial date was at 2 a.m. at a place called House of Pies. Their first official date, Backstreet Cafe. The moment that won Thi over, Matthew showing up to a large Vietnamese family gathering and going completely all in on her favorite Vietnamese food, without a flicker of hesitation or awkwardness. Fully present, fully in. They got married by the sea in Portugal. A decade later, they celebrated their anniversary in St. Kitts. 10 days before she died, Thi posted a video on Instagram, laughing with Matthew about growing old together. She wrote that he thought they would grow old together, but she was Asian, so she didn't have the heart to correct him. Hundreds of people commented. Everyone laughed with her. You need to understand the scale of what the Mitchells had constructed, because it matters to what comes after. Traveler's Table opened in Houston's Montrose neighborhood in 2019. By 2021, Guy Fieri showed up and featured it on diners, drive-ins, and dives. The kind of national exposure that changes a restaurant's trajectory. In 2023, Stanton Bundy competed on Beat Bobby Flay and won. In July 2025, another Traveler's Table chef, Miguel Torres, appeared on Guy's Grocery Games. By 2025, Yelp ranked Traveler's Table number 2 on their list of the top places to eat in all of Houston. Number 2, in one of the most competitive food cities in the country. In October 2024, they opened Traveler's Cart, a second location at 1401 Montrose Boulevard. 2 restaurants, a fashion line, and a hospitality umbrella they'd branded the Travelers Collective. In 2025, the Greater Houston chapter of the Texas Restaurant Association named them Restaurateurs of the Year. That is what they had built in 6 years. I want to be specific about the timeline of the final days because the specificity matters. April 24th, 2026, 10 days before the family was found. Thi posted an Instagram video with Matthew in frame. She is laughing. He is there. She wrote her joke about growing old. Hundreds of people responded with heart emojis. May the 1st, approximately 3 days before the family was found, Thi posted the video of the dress shopping trip with Maya, lunch at a cafe, Maya in the fitting room mirror in a formal dress. The post about her sister's upcoming wedding in Boston, planning, looking forward. May 3rd, a Sunday. Friends confirmed they spoke to Thi that evening. Multiple people. She sounded completely normal, no distress, no unusual tone, no indication of anything wrong. She was present, she was talking, she was being Thi. Somewhere in that Sunday evening, the Mitchell family went dark. The babysitter began trying to reach them. No response. Monday, May 4th. The silence held all day. The babysitter and Thi's sister, Lai Mai, could not reach anyone in the family. And the babysitter knew, not because of any specific incident, not because of any documented warning sign, but because she knew this family's rhythms well enough to recognize that the silence was wrong. This family does not go dark. She made the call. Around 5:30 in the evening, HPD officers arrived at the Kingston Street home. And at approximately that same hour, Matthew's friends were sitting down to dinner, waiting for him. He never came. Let me be precise about what the record actually shows, because in a case this high profile, the line between confirmed fact and circulating report can blur fast. What is officially confirmed, Houston police have named Matthew Mitchell as the suspect and are handling this as a murder-suicide. The Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences has confirmed all 4 cause-of-death rulings. 3 homicides, 1 self-inflicted gunshot wound. Both children were found in their beds. The official time recorded for the children's deaths is 6:11 in the evening on May 4th. There were 0 prior police calls to the Kingston Street address, 0 legal filings of any kind in Harris County courts. No restraining orders, no domestic violence reports, no civil disputes. Nothing in any public database that would have functioned as a warning. No motive has been officially released. No note has been publicly confirmed. HPD's Homicide Division remains actively working the case. Anyone with information is urged to contact them at 713-308-3600. What has been widely reported by multiple sourced outlets but not officially confirmed in HPD's public statements, that Thi was pregnant at the time of her death. What comes from unnamed sources close to the case and has not been officially confirmed by police or addressed publicly by the family. An allegation that, in the period before the killings, Matthew had been experiencing paranoia. What form that took. What triggered it? What anyone close to him witnessed or failed to witness? None of that is in any public record. Police have not addressed it. I am raising it because it has appeared in sourced reporting and because it is the closest thing this case has to an explanation. It is not a confirmed explanation. It has come up in coverage, and I want to address it directly. Traveler's Cart, the second location, involved a $2.35 million funding round. That is also $235 million in debt. Running 2 restaurants in 2025 and into 2026 has been genuinely brutal for owners across the country. Labor costs, food costs, insurance, rent, all of it has compressed margins to the point where some of the most celebrated restaurants in major cities have quietly folded. People in the Houston food community have noted that context, but a restaurant editor who knew the Mitchells closely was very deliberate with reporters. He said there is no indication that the financial pressures played a role in what happened. That is a person with inside knowledge of both the industry and this family making a specific choice to separate the financial backdrop from any confirmed cause. So, the financial context is real. The confirmed motive is not. I have looked at this case from several angles now, and I keep getting stuck at the same place. Matthew Mitchell left almost no psychological record, not a social media post, not a documented argument, not a single public expression of distress or conflict or internal struggle. His closest professional colleague called him a great friend. His wife was posting videos of him laughing 10 days before the end. His friends were at a table waiting for him. The paranoia allegation, if accurate, would represent the only thread of an interior life that made it into anyone's account. And even that comes through unnamed sources, not through anything Matthew himself left behind. I think that silence is significant, not because it explains anything, but because it shows you the size of the gap between what was visible and what was happening. A close friend of the family wrote something after the tragedy that I think is the most honest statement anyone has offered publicly. She wrote, "Matthew, there are no words for the weight you must have carried. This kind of pain does not make sense, and that is what breaks me. Love was there, and still it was not enough. I want to be unambiguous about what that is and what it is not. It is not a defense. It is not a justification. Nothing is. Not financial pressure, not paranoia, not invisible grief, not anything we know or don't know. What it is the only honest accounting anyone has been willing to put in writing. The love was real. A decade of marriage, anniversary trips, a laughing Instagram video 10 days before the end. The love was documented and undeniable. And whatever was building inside Matthew Mitchell in those final weeks, whatever had reached a catastrophic point on that Sunday night, it was completely invisible to the people who knew him best. He had dinner plans for Monday. He had made normal arrangements for a normal evening. Whatever broke, nobody saw it coming. There is something that surfaced in the reporting that I do not think has gotten enough attention, and I want to raise it carefully. Thi's sister, Lai Mai, had suffered her own devastating loss just 2 months before this tragedy. In February 2026, Lai's husband, named Matt, died suddenly after doctors believed he suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm. Lai posted about it publicly. She wrote, "I am still in complete disbelief that I am writing this. My husband, Matt, passed away suddenly. Our hearts are shattered. I am not going to speculate on what that loss meant to the Mitchell family specifically, or how it may or may not have affected Matthew's mental state. I don't have the information to do that, but I think it matters to the full picture of what this family was navigating in the months leading up to May 4th. Thi's family was already grieving, already carrying something enormous. And still, the Sunday evening before everything ended, Thi sounded completely fine to the friends she spoke to. That is not a contradiction. That is just how grief and crisis can coexist with ordinary life, quietly, invisibly, right up until they can't. The morning after the Mitchell family was found, the staff of Traveler's Table and Traveler's Cart went to work. Let me sit with that for a moment. The people this couple had hired, trained, promoted from within, poured themselves into building. They showed up. They clocked in. They opened the doors. They kept serving Houston, because that is what the Mitchells had built. Not just restaurants, a place where people show up for each other. The restaurants released a statement. It read, "As Traveler's Table and Traveler's Cart remain open for business, we want to thank our loyal staff. who have shown up and worked through these difficult circumstances, ensuring that we continue to serve our community. We are asking for unity and respect for our privacy as we navigate this immense loss. Hospitality comes from within, and to honor the traveler's legacy, we will continue to welcome you into our restaurants. The traveler's legacy. That is what they called it. On Kingston Street, a memorial grew. Flowers, photos, small tributes from people who had eaten at Thi's tables and felt something, felt seen, felt welcomed, felt like they were somewhere that mattered because that was what she built and that was who she was. I want to zoom out because I think this story carries something worth sitting with beyond the Mitchell family specifically. The first thing is this: the absence of documentation is not safety. No police calls to a home does not mean that home is safe. No restraining orders does not mean a relationship is without danger. No red flags in any public record does not mean a person is okay. We have built systems, legal systems, social systems, community systems, that lean heavily on documentation as proof of reality. If it was not reported, it was not serious. If it did not appear in a record, it did not exist. The Mitchell case is a direct and devastating challenge to that assumption. 0 prior calls, 0 legal filings, 0 anything in any database that would have signaled danger. And still, a Monday evening. The second thing is about invisible crisis specifically. Whatever Matthew Mitchell was carrying in those final days, whether it was financial pressure or the paranoia that's been alleged, or grief over Thi's family's recent loss, or some combination of things we still don't have a name for, it was entirely hidden from the people closest to him. His friends saw a man with dinner plans. Thi's friends heard a woman who sounded fine on Sunday night. His colleagues were still talking about World Cup menu ideas. That is not a failure of the people who loved this family. That is the nature of invisible crisis. It does not announce itself. It does not hand you a warning sign. It builds behind a closed door, in the silence between one Instagram post and the next, in the space between a Sunday phone call that sounds normal and a Monday welfare check that finds everything gone. The third thing is about the babysitter's call. She did not have a specific articulable reason. She could not point to a prior incident, a stated threat, a named behavior. She had familiarity. She had the knowledge built through time with this family, their rhythms, their patterns, and she recognized that the silence was wrong. That call did not save anyone. The tragedy had already happened before she dialed, but it ended the not knowing. It brought the world in. When something does not feel right, when the silence is too long, when the gut says something is wrong, that instinct is worth acting on, every time, without waiting for a reason that is documented or officially recognized. When something is wrong, you call. I want to end not with questions, with people. Thi Mitchell was 39 years old, born in Chicago, raised in Houston, a first-generation Vietnamese American who spent her childhood weekends in her grandmother's restaurant and grew up to build something that put that restaurant city on a national culinary map. A master's degree holder, a Fortune 500 executive who walked away to build something of her own, a fashion designer, a board member, a woman who spent a Thursday afternoon helping her daughter pick a dress for her aunt's wedding and posted about it because she loved her life and was not afraid to say so. She was pregnant when she died. Maya Mitchell was 8 years old, born in 2018. She attended River Oaks Elementary School. She helped her mom pick a dress and, according to Thi's post, made sure Thi was set too. She was found in her bed. Maxwell Mitchell was 4 years old, born in 2021. He was found in his bed. Matthew Mitchell was 52 years old, a journalist, a traveler, a pharmaceutical CEO who studied at Oxford and then enrolled in culinary school because he wanted to build something with his wife, a man who named every cocktail on the menus, A man who showed up to a Vietnamese family gathering on one of their first dates and went completely all in without hesitation. A man whose closest colleague called him a great friend. A man whose wife was posting about him with humor and warmth 10 days before the end. A man who, according to Houston police, confirmed by NBC News and the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, fatally shot his wife and 2 children before taking his own life on a Monday evening in River Oaks. And a man whose friends said, after everything, love was there, and still it was not enough. That sentence is the heaviest thing in this entire story. Because the love was real, Thi's Instagram makes that undeniable, a decade of it, documented in real time. And whatever broke inside Matthew Mitchell in those final days, whatever had become unbearable in that space between a laughing video on April 24th and a welfare check on May 4th, it took everything with it. That is not an excuse. It is just the most honest thing left to say. The doors are still open. The staff keeps showing up. The Traveler's legacy, as they named it, lives on in every meal served and every table where somebody feels welcomed. And on Kingston Street, the memorial keeps growing. Rest in peace, Thi Mitchell. Rest in peace, Maya. Rest in peace, Maxwell. This video was produced using public records, court documents, official statements from the Houston Police Department and the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, and verified reporting from ABC 13, Fox 26, NBC News, and Houston Public Media. Any individual who has not been charged with a crime is presumed innocent. Analytical observations were identified as such throughout. Some details, including the report of pregnancy and the allegation of paranoia, have been sourced from reporting, but have not been officially confirmed by HPD in their public statements. This video is intended for documentary and educational purposes only, and does not constitute a legal conclusion of any kind. If you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out. Call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Free, confidential, 24 hours a day. If you are in a situation where you feel unsafe, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available at 1-800-799-7233. If this story mattered to you, subscribe. We stay with these cases as long as the evidence keeps moving. What part of this case do you think investigators are still working to understand? Leave it in the comments. I read them.